chosen one. That sudden restlessness you have felt in your spirit for the last 72 hours, that is not anxiety. That is proximity. You are physically feeling the weight of a massive delivery that has arrived at your spiritual gate, but it has not crossed the threshold yet. Why? Because the enemy is currently trying to blur the name on the label, to divert it. He wants you to think, God forgot you. Center your mind right now. Close the door to every distraction in your head. The angels are not waiting for your tears anymore. They are waiting for your signature. I am about to show you how to sign for what is already yours. Let us be honest about the last 3 days. You have been trying to function normally, going to work, smiling at your family, going through the motions. But underneath the surface, your entire nervous system feels like it is vibrating. Maybe it started with a sudden disruption in your sleep cycle. You found yourself wide awake at 3:14 inches the morning, sitting on the edge of your bed, staring into the darkness. You checked your phone, scrolling without actually seeing anything, hoping for a distraction, but the blue light only made the feeling worse. It is a tightness in your throat that water cannot wash away. It is a knot in your stomach that is not from hunger. It feels like you are waiting for a phone call that is 10 years late. And because your logical mind cannot find a reason for this feeling, you have started to label it as something wrong. You are telling yourself that you are having a relapse of anxiety. You are telling yourself that maybe you are depressed again. You are telling yourself that something bad is about to happen. But listen to me. That heaviness pressing on your chest right now is not a sign of a mental breakdown. It is a sign of atmospheric displacement. Think about physics for a moment. When a massive ship enters a small harbor, it displaces the water. The water level rises. The pressure changes. The waves crash harder against the shore. The ship has not even docked yet, but the environment feels its presence miles before it arrives. That is exactly what is happening to you. The blessing, the assignment, the breakthrough that God has dispatched to you is so massive, so heavy with glory, that it is displacing the spiritual atmosphere around you. You are feeling the pressure of its arrival before you see the manifestation of its presence. The prophet Habakkuk spoke about this, but most people miss the depth of what he was actually saying. He said, "The vision is for an appointed time, and though it tarries, wait for it." But the Hebrew context for waiting here isn't sitting passively on a bench looking at a watch. It carries the energy of a hunter waiting in the brush, muscles tensed, breath held, fully alert, because he knows the target is seconds away. That is the tension you are feeling. It is not the tension of abandonment. It is the tension of the arrival. So I need you to understand this clearly. You are not crazy. You are not spiraling. You are sensing the shift. But here is the critical question. If the ship is so close, why hasn't it docked? If the blessing is this heavy, why are your hands still empty? Before I answer that, I need you to make a decision right now. The next few minutes of this video are not just information. I am going to hand you a spiritual legal document. We are going to uncover the signature code that proves your identity to the heavenly courts. We are going to expose the 7 forms of confrontation that will try to stop you in the next 40 days. If you leave before we seal this, you will walk away with the pressure, but without the package. Do not let the enemy distract you now. Stay with me until the very last second, because we are going to finish what God started. Now, visualize this with me in your mind. I want you to imagine a border crossing, a high-security checkpoint between the realm of heaven and the realm of earth. This is the spiritual customs office. Everything God releases from his throne room must pass through this territory to manifest in your physical reality. Here is the truth that will set you free from the lie that God is ignoring you. The package has been dispatched. God did not say no. He did not change his mind. He did not give your blessing to someone else because you made a mistake last Tuesday. The dispatch is confirmed. The tracking number matches your DNA. The contents include the financial resources you need, the relational restoration you have cried for, and the vindication for the years the locusts have eaten. It traveled through the second heaven. It reached the border of your reality. But right now, at this very moment, it is sitting in a holding bay at the spiritual customs office. It is not moving. It is being held for inspection. And this is where the war is happening. You are down here on earth, crying out to God, asking him why he hasn't sent it. And God is looking at the situation saying, I sent it. It is at the gate. Why haven't you cleared it? You see, usually when a package is stopped at customs, it is because the paperwork is missing or the identity of the recipient is in question. And that is exactly what is happening in the spirit. There is a figure standing at the desk in that spiritual customs office. He is not the sender. He is not the courier. He is the accuser. He is holding your package. He is looking at the label with your name on it, and he is holding a red pen, ready to scratch your name out. He is arguing with the angels that you are not the person written on the label. He is bringing up your past. He is bringing up your doubts. He is bringing up your secret fears. He is trying to convince the court of heaven that the person on the label no longer exists and that you have disqualified yourself from receiving this level of glory. This entity is blocking the gate. He is the reason for the pressure. He is the reason for the delay. He is the reason you feel like you are fighting for your life just to maintain your peace. He is the identity thief, and he has been stealing from you for years, not by power, but by tricking you into agreeing with him. But who is he really? And what specific lie is he using right now to keep your delivery locked in that holding bay? Because if you can identify the lie, you can break the lock. The entity standing at the gate of your breakthrough is not just a random obstacle. He is a strategic interceptor. To understand exactly what he is doing to your package right now, we have to look at the classified files of the prophet Daniel. Most people know the story of Daniel in the lion's den, but they miss the story of Daniel in the waiting room. In Daniel chapter 10, the prophet had a vision of a great war. He needed understanding. He needed a breakthrough. So he went into a fast. He prayed. He humbled himself. And then silence. 1 day passed. Nothing. 7 days passed. Nothing. 2 weeks passed. Still nothing. Now, pause and look at your own life. You prayed for the financial shift. You fasted for the restoration of your marriage. You did everything right, but the heavens seem like brass. You are starting to think, God did not hear me. God is saying no. Maybe I am being punished. But then, on day 21, an angel finally breaks through the atmosphere and appears to Daniel. And listen to the specific words the angel says. He says, "Do not fear, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart to understand, your words were heard, and I have come because of your words." Did you catch that? From the first day. The moment the prayer left Daniel's lips, the dispatch was released from the throne. God did not wait 21 days to answer. He answered on second one. But the angel continues. He says, "But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. This is the revelation that changes everything. The prince of Persia was not a human king. He was a high-ranking spiritual entity, a principality stationed in the second heaven, specifically assigned to block the traffic between God and Daniel. The delay was not a denial from the Father. The delay was a war in the middle. The package was not missing. It was intercepted, and right now, that same dynamic is playing out in your life. The reason you feel that atmospheric pressure, that somatic anxiety I spoke about, is because the collision is happening right above your head. The blessing is trying to land, and the interceptor is standing in the runway. But here is where it gets personal. The Prince of Persia blocked Daniel with raw power, but the entity blocking you today is using a different tactic. He is not just trying to stop the angel with force, he is trying to confuse the paperwork. Go back to that image of the spiritual customs office in your mind. I want you to look closely at what the enemy is doing at the desk. He is holding the package that contains your destiny. It is a box filled with the promises God spoke over you years ago. He cannot destroy the box. He does not have the power to uncreate what God has created. He cannot steal the contents. They are divinely insured. So if he cannot destroy the blessing, what does he do? He attacks the shipping label. He is committing spiritual identity theft. Watch his hands. He is holding a red pen. He is looking at the name written on the box, Chosen One, Royal Priesthood, Child of the Most High. And he is frantically trying to scratch it out. He is trying to smudge the ink. He is trying to paste a new label over it. He looks at the recording angels and points to your recent mistakes. He whispers, "Look at their history. Look at their bank account. Look at their anxiety. This package is addressed to a victor, but the person down there looks like a victim. This package is addressed to a lender, not a borrower, but the person down there is drowning in debt. This cannot be the right person. Return to sender." He is trying to convince the court of heaven that you are an impostor. He wants the angels to believe that the person God called you to be does not exist. He wants to blur your identity so badly that when the blessing arrives, it does not recognize you. And this is the most painful part. This is where we have to be brutally honest. The reason he is succeeding, the reason he has been able to hold that package for so long, is not just because he is a liar, it is because you are helping him. Every time you sit on the edge of your bed and say, "God has forgotten me," you are validating the enemy's claim. Every time you say, "I will never get out of this hole," you are agreeing with the new label he is writing. When you adopt the victim mindset, when you agree with the delay, you are essentially standing in that courtroom and saying, "Yes, he is right. I am not a chosen one. I am just a forgotten one." You are witnessing a crime in progress, but you are not the victim of the crime. You are the accomplice. He cannot erase your name unless you hand him the pen. He cannot finalize the theft unless you sign the release form. So the question is not, why is God waiting? The question is, why are you agreeing with the thief? There is a specific lie you are believing right now, a deep-seated belief about your own unworthiness that acts as the ink in the enemy's pen. And until we snatch that pen out of his hand, the package stays at the border. We need to find out what that lie is, and we need to kill it. So, what is this lie? It is not a loud scream. It is a whisper that sounds exactly like your own voice. It is the imposter syndrome that wakes up with you every morning. It is the voice that says, "I am a fraud." It says, "If people knew who I really was, if they knew what I did 5 years ago, if they knew the thoughts I struggle with, they would not respect me." It is the deep, sinking feeling that you are damaged goods, and that God made a mistake when he called your name. You look at the blessing coming toward you, the massive career shift, the kingdom marriage, the financial overflow, and instead of excitement, you feel panic. You think, "I cannot handle that." I will mess it up just like I messed up the last one. That is the lie. You are agreeing with the accuser that your past failures define your future capacity. You are convinced that because you have scars, you are not qualified to wear the crown. To understand how deadly this is, and how to break it, we need to go to a courtroom scene in the book of Zechariah, chapter 3. This is one of the most intense moments in the entire Bible. The prophet Zechariah sees a vision of Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord. Now, Joshua was the religious leader of his time. He was supposed to be holy. He was supposed to be pure. But in this vision, he is clothed in filthy garments. In the original Hebrew text, the word used for filthy is not just a little dusty. It implies something covered in excrement. It is vile. It is shameful. Joshua is standing in the holiest place in the universe, in front of the holiest presence, wearing clothes that smell of death and waste. And standing right next to him at his right hand is Satan. And Satan does not even have to speak lies here. All he has to do is point. He points at the filth on Joshua's clothes and says, "Look at him. This is your chosen one? This is the man you want to bless? He is dirty. He is unworthy. He is a hypocrite." And Joshua says nothing. He cannot defend himself because the accusation is true. His clothes are dirty. This is exactly where you are standing right now. You are in the presence of God, waiting for your delivery, but you feel the stain of your past. You feel the dirt of your mistakes. And because you feel dirty, you stop reaching out for the blessing. You pull your hand back. You lower your head. You accept the delay because you secretly believe you deserve it. But watch what God does. This is the moment that will set you free. God does not argue about the dirt. He does not say the clothes are clean. He admits the condition, but he rejects the conclusion. He says to the angels standing by, "Take off his filthy clothes." And then he says to Joshua, "See, I have taken away your sin, and I will put fine garments on you." God did not fix the old clothes. He did not wash them. He removed them entirely and gave him a completely new wardrobe. He gave him a new identity that matched his calling, not his past. Now, listen to me, because here comes the twist that will shift your entire reality. You have been thinking that the delay is because God is slow. You have been thinking the package is stuck because the enemy is too strong. But that is not the truth. The reason the package is still in the customs office is not because God hasn't sent it. It is because the name on the package does not match the person trying to pick it up. The package is addressed to the new you. It is addressed to the head and not the tail. It is addressed to the victor. It is addressed to the son or daughter of the king. But the person standing at the counter trying to sign for it is still wearing the filthy garments of the victim. You are answering to the name of your trauma. You are answering to the name of your past. You are answering to the name scared, unworthy, broken. When the angel looks at the package, he sees a glorious destiny. When he looks at you, he sees someone agreeing with the accuser. The signatures do not match. The delay is not external, it is internal. You are blocking your own blessing because you are still wearing the clothes of the person you used to be. The enemy is using your own lack of self-worth to keep the gate closed. So now you know the truth. The enemy is not more powerful than God. He is just leveraging your insecurity. He cannot stop the delivery, but he can stop you from claiming it as long as you believe you are an impostor. But knowing the problem is not enough. You need to know how to take off the filthy garments. You need to know how to put on the new robes so that when you sign for that package, the signature clears instantly. You need a signature code. You need to know exactly what to say and do to override the accusation and release the hold. To prove to you that this is not just theory, let me tell you about a man who was sitting exactly where you are sitting right now. 9 months ago, he sat at a scratched wooden table in a dimly lit kitchen. Spread out in front of him were 3 envelopes. One was a foreclosure warning, one was a final notice on his car, and one was a collection letter for a loan he took out, trying to save a business that failed anyway. The only sound in the house was the hum of the refrigerator, because his wife had taken the kids to her mother's house just so they would not see their father cry. He felt like a failure. He felt like a fraud. He looked at those papers and he heard the accuser say, "You will never recover from this. This is your legacy." And in that moment, he almost agreed. He almost picked up the pen to sign bankruptcy papers, which would have been him agreeing with the label of poverty. But then, he discovered the signature code. He stopped. He put the pen down. And instead of agreeing with the debt, he did something that makes no logical sense. But before I tell you what he did and the miracle that happened exactly 9 days later, you need to understand the tool he used. It is hidden in the book of Revelation chapter 2, verse 17. God says, "To the one who conquers, I will give a white stone, with a new name written on the stone that no one knows except the one who receives it." Most people read that and think it is just a nice spiritual souvenir. But in the ancient Roman judicial system, the white stone was a legal verdict. When a man was put on trial, the jury did not say guilty or not guilty. They cast stones into an urn. A black stone meant condemnation and death, but a white stone meant total acquittal. It meant the accused was innocent, free, and restored to full citizenship with no record of wrong. This is the signature code. When God gives you a white stone, He is not just giving you a rock. He is handing you a legal verdict of acquittal against the accuser. The enemy is holding up your past sins like black stones, but God has already cast the white stone. The problem is, you are still signing your name on the black stone. You are agreeing with the guilt that God has already dismissed. So, here is the framework. Here is how you use the signature code right now, without moving a muscle. It has 2 steps. Step 1 is the internal objection. In a court of law, when a prosecutor asks a manipulative question or states a lie, the defense attorney does not sit there and cry. He stands up and yells, "Objection." You need to do this in your spirit right now. When the thought comes that says, "You are too broken to receive this blessing," you do not debate it. You mentally slam your hand on the table of your mind and say, "Objection. That is the old me. That person has been acquitted." Step 2 is the identity override. You must speak the new name. You cannot sign for a kingdom delivery with a victim's signature. You have to say, "I am the righteousness of God. I am the head and not the tail." Even if your bank account says 0, your spiritual signature must say, "Abundance." Now, let us go back to that man at the kitchen table. He learned this code. He looked at the foreclosure notice. The fear was screaming in his chest, but he closed his eyes, and in his spirit, he slammed the gavel down. He said, "I object. I am not a debtor. I am a lender. I am not a failure. I am a son of the King." And he refused to panic. He refused to call people begging for money. He stood in the silence of that kitchen and held his ground on the white stone. For 3 days, nothing happened. The pressure got worse. But he kept signing the new name. Then, on day 9, his phone rang. It was not a bill collector. It was a lawyer representing a distant relative he had not spoken to in 20 years. This relative had passed away and left a specific instruction that a portion of his estate was to go to him. The amount was not millions. But it was exactly enough to clear the mortgage, pay off the car, and restart his business with operating capital. The delivery had been waiting for months, but it could not reach him until he stopped agreeing with the spirit of poverty and started signing with the spirit of sonship. The moment his internal signature matched the name on the package, the customs officer had to release it. And the same will happen for you. If you can change your signature in the spirit right now, the physical manifestation is mandatory. But listen to me closely, chosen one. This is where the danger shifts. Once you recover your identity, the package starts moving again. The customs officer releases it. But the enemy is not going to just stand there and watch it arrive at your door. He knows he can no longer block it legally at the border, so he is going to leave the customs office and meet you in the street. He is changing his strategy from legal accusation to guerrilla warfare. He is preparing 7 specific attacks to stop you in the final mile of this journey. These are not random problems. They are calculated strikes designed to make you drop the package before you cross the threshold. And the first one usually happens within 24 hours of you deciding to believe. Now that you have the signature code, the package has been released from the holding bay. The legal claim of the accuser has been overruled by your white stone. But do not make the mistake of thinking the war is over. The battlefield has simply shifted. We are moving from the courtroom to the street. The enemy knows he can no longer stop the delivery legally, so he is going to try to stop it tactically. He is switching from being a prosecutor to being a saboteur. You need to understand the physics of spiritual warfare. It operates very much like aerodynamics. When a jet fighter is sitting on the runway, there is zero resistance. But as it accelerates, the air resistance increases. The faster it moves, the harder the atmosphere pushes back against it, and right before it breaks the sound barrier, the shaking is violent. It feels like the machine is going to tear itself apart. That is exactly where you are right now. You are approaching the sound barrier of your breakthrough. That is why the last 48 hours have felt more intense than the last 40 days. The resistance you are feeling is not proof that you are going the wrong way. It is proof that you are gaining speed. If you were moving away from your destiny, the enemy would not be bothering you. The friction you feel is the friction of velocity. The Apostle Paul warned us about this in Ephesians chapter 6 when he told us to stand against the wiles of the devil. The Greek word he used for wiles is methodia. It is where we get the word method. It means the enemy does not attack randomly. He has a method. He has a playbook. And when a chosen one is about to cross the threshold of a major promise, he always uses the same 7 forms of confrontation. He is going to cycle through these tactics one by one to see which one makes you drop the package. We are going to expose the first 3 forms right now, because I know for a fact that you are already feeling at least one of them in your body. The first form is the irrational delay. This is different from the waiting season you just came out of. That was a developmental wait, ordained by God to build your character. This is a demonic hindrance, designed to break your spirit. You will know it is an attack because it feels sticky. It feels like you are trying to run through waist-deep mud. Watch for this pattern. You finally get the money to pay a bill, but the transaction fails 3 times for no reason. You set aside time to pray, and suddenly the internet goes down, the car battery dies, or a pipe bursts. It is a cluster of mechanical and logistical failures that makes no statistical sense. It is designed to trigger a somatic response of rage. You feel a sudden heat rising in your neck, your jaw tightens. You want to scream at inanimate objects. You feel a frantic energy in your chest that says, "Why is nothing working?" When you feel that heat rise, stop. Do not engage with the frustration. That anger is the trap. The enemy wants you to curse your blessing before it arrives. He wants you to speak death over your technology or your situation. Instead, recognize it for what it is. Friction. It means you are close. Take a breath, refuse the rage, and keep moving. If the delay doesn't work, he will switch to the second form, the petty distraction. This attack does not come like a roaring lion. It comes like a swarm of mosquitoes. It is designed to fragment your focus. The enemy knows that if you can keep your eyes locked on Jesus for this final mile, you are unstoppable. So he sends 1,000 tiny things to break your gaze. Suddenly, people start acting strangely around you. A coworker makes a snide comment that loops in your head for 3 hours. Your spouse starts an argument about something that happened 5 years ago. You find yourself losing your keys, misplacing documents, or getting caught in traffic jams that shouldn't exist. Your mind feels scattered. You try to focus on the big picture, but your brain feels like a browser with too many tabs open. You feel a buzzing anxiety behind your eyes. You feel unable to complete a single thought. This is the tactic of Sanballat in the Bible. When Nehemiah was building the wall, Sanballat didn't have an army to stop him, so he just kept calling Nehemiah to come down and talk. He wanted to distract him from the great work. If you are feeling scattered right now, it is because you are building something great. Do not come down from the wall to argue with the mosquitoes. Ignore the petty offenses. Ignore the small inconveniences. They are not worth your energy. They are decoys sent to make you look away from the prize. And if you ignore the distractions, the enemy will play his third card, the disqualification loop. This is a mental assault on your worthiness. Just as you are about to step into the new territory, the enemy hits the rewind button on your memory. He plays a highlight reel of your worst moments. You will be driving your car, feeling good, and suddenly a memory of a sin from 10 years ago hits you in the gut. You feel a physical drop in your stomach. You feel a wave of shame wash over you. Your shoulders instinctively curve forward, trying to make yourself smaller. You think, "Who am I kidding? I'm not a man of God. I'm a mess. Remember what I did? Remember who I hurt?" He wants you to disqualify yourself right at the finish line. He wants you to hand the white stone back to God and pick up the black stone of shame. But remember the signature code. Objection. That version of you is dead. That sin is buried. Do not have a conversation with a dead version of yourself. When that shame hits your stomach, breathe into it and say, "I am the righteousness of God in Christ Jesus." Now, listen to me. These 3 attacks, the delay, the distraction, and the disqualification, they are annoying. They are exhausting. But they are just the diversion. They are the jabs to get you to lower your guard. The enemy is saving his most dangerous weapon for the moment you think you have won. The 4th form of confrontation is not an obstacle. It does not try to stop you. It does not try to make you feel bad. In fact, it tries to make you feel very, very good. It is the most lethal trap in the playbook because it does not look like war. It looks like the answer to your prayer. It doesn't block the path. It masquerades as the destination. And if you sign for this one, you will lose the real inheritance forever. The 4th form of confrontation is the counterfeit delivery. This is the weapon the enemy uses when he realizes he cannot break you with pain. So instead, he tries to break you with pleasure. He tries to seduce you into settling for a cheap imitation of God's promise. You need to understand the timing of this attack. The counterfeit always arrives immediately before the real thing. It is the Ishmael that shows up when you are tired of waiting for Isaac. Abraham wanted a son. That was a godly desire. But he got tired of the timeline, so he took matters into his own hands and birthed Ishmael. Ishmael looked like the promise. He was a son. He was an heir. But he was birthed in striving, not in spirit. And that one decision created a conflict that lasted for generations. Right now, because you are so close to the breakthrough, your hunger is at an all-time high. You are starving for relief. And the enemy sees that hunger. So he packages up a distraction, wraps it in gold paper, puts a bow on it, and leaves it at your doorstep. It might look like a job offer that pays double your salary, but requires you to compromise your morals or miss church every Sunday. It might look like a romantic partner who checks every box on your list. They are attractive, they are successful, they are charming, but they do not share your spirit. It looks perfect on the outside, but inside, it is a ticking time bomb designed to dismantle your destiny from the living room. Let me tell you about a chosen one named Sarah, to warn you how subtle this is. Sarah had been praying for a kingdom assignment in the corporate world for 5 years. She was broke, tired, and ready to give up. Then, out of nowhere, a major tech company offered her a VP position. It was everything she wanted. The money was insane. The title was prestigious. But there was one small problem. In the interview, she felt a check in her spirit, a tiny, quiet alarm bell in her gut. She ignored it. She told herself she was just being paranoid. She focused on the salary. She focused on the relief of paying her bills. She picked up the pen. Visualize this micro-action with me. Her hand was shaking slightly, not from excitement, but from a subtle vibration of warning. But she overrode it. She signed the contract. 6 months later, that job had become a prison. The culture was toxic. Her boss was abusive. She was working 80 hours a week and had no time to pray, no time to rest, and her spiritual life completely withered. She had signed for a counterfeit. It looked like a blessing, but it was actually a cage plated in gold. And it took her 3 years to untangle herself from that mess. 3 years that she could have been walking in her true purpose. You cannot afford to lose 3 years right now. You are too close. So, how do you tell the difference? How do you distinguish between the blessing of the Lord that adds no sorrow and the counterfeit of the enemy that brings hidden chains? I am going to give you the second framework. These are the 3 signing protocols. You must run every opportunity, every person, and every sudden breakthrough through this scanner before you accept it. Do this with me mentally right now. Imagine the opportunity is a box sitting on the table of your mind. Do not open it yet. We are going to inspect it. Protocol number 1. Verify the sender. You have to ask yourself one question. Is this opportunity fueling my faith or feeding my fear? The counterfeit is always sent to feed your fear of being poor, your fear of being alone, your fear of being irrelevant. The real blessing is sent to fuel your faith and expand your territory. If you are rushing to sign because you are panicked, put the pen down. God never drives you with panic. He leads you with peace. Protocol number 2. Scan the contents. You need to use your spiritual X-ray. Look past the wrapping paper. Look past the salary. Look past the handsome face. What is the spirit inside? Does this opportunity bring you peace, or does it just bring you relief? There is a massive difference. Relief is just the cessation of pain. It feels good for a moment, like scratching an itch. But peace is a weighty, solid presence that settles in your gut and says, This is home. If you feel relief but your spirit is agitated, it is a counterfeit. Protocol number 3. Sign with authority. If the opportunity passes the first 2 tests, if it feeds your faith and brings deep peace, then and only then do you sign. But you do not sign as a beggar. You sign as a king. You do not say, "Thank you for saving me." You say, "I accept this assignment for the glory of God." Chosen one. Listen to me. If there is something in your life right now that feels like a struggle, something you are trying to force to work, something that requires you to compromise your peace just to keep it, stop. Step back from the table. Do not sign that paper. Do not send that text. Do not agree to that term. It is a trap. The Ishmael is here to distract you because the Isaac is coming. You now have the signature code to reclaim your identity. You have the protocols to reject the fake. Your spirit is clear. Your hands are ready. But this brings us to the final mystery. If you reject the shiny counterfeit, when does the real treasure appear? And why, when you look for it, does it seem like God has hidden it in the one place you are afraid to go? Why does God say that He hides His greatest treasures, not in the light, but in the darkness? So here is the final mystery you must solve before the package can be released into your hands. If the counterfeit always comes wrapped in shiny, attractive paper, and if the enemy always masquerades as an angel of light, then where does God hide the real treasure? It seems contradictory, but the Bible gives us a specific coordinate for where your breakthrough is currently located. In Isaiah chapter 45, verse 3, God makes a promise that sounds strange to the human ear. He says, "I will give you the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places." Treasures of darkness. We are taught to fear the dark. We are taught that darkness is where the enemy hides. But God is saying, no, the enemy plays in the artificial light. The enemy plays in the spotlight of fame and the glitter of instant gratification. But I, the Lord, keep my most valuable assets in the dark room of development. Think about a seed. Before it can become a mighty oak tree, it must be buried in the dirt. It must spend time in the cold, dark soil. If you expose the seed to the sunlight too early, you kill it. The darkness is not a tomb, it is a womb. The reason you have felt buried lately, the reason the last few months have felt obscure and lonely, is not because you have lost your way. It is because you have been planted. God hid you in the darkness to protect your development from the enemy's prying eyes. He hid you so that your roots could go down deep before your branches go up high. The counterfeit arrives instantly because it has no roots. But the real delivery, the one with your name on it, has been gestating in the secret place of the Most High. And the fact that you are watching this means the gestation period is over. The seed is about to break the soil. But when does it break? Is this just another vague season of waiting? No. We serve a God of specific times and seasons. Based on the spiritual laws of breakthrough, I want to set a specific timeline for you. You are entering a 40-day corridor of transformation. In Scripture, the number 40 always represents the bridge between a promise given and a promise manifested. It rained for 40 days to cleanse the earth for Noah. Moses was on the mountain for 40 days to receive the law. The spies explored the land for 40 days. Jesus fasted for 40 days before he launched his ministry. Starting from this moment, for the next 40 days, the activity in your life is going to shift from defensive to offensive. The delays will break. The distractions will lose their power. The silence will be broken by the sound of heavy rain. But you must hold the line for these 40 days. You cannot waver. You cannot agree with the accuser. You must maintain the signature code every single morning. And to ensure you are ready for what arrives in this 40-day window, we need to do one final preparation. We need to prepare the room. Imagine for a moment that you received a call that a king was coming to stay at your house in 40 minutes. What would you do? You would not just sit there. You would get up. You would clean. You would clear the clutter. You would make space. The Holy Spirit is saying, you are asking for a kingdom-sized blessing, but your spiritual house is cluttered with the debris of the past. You cannot put new wine into old wineskins. If the blessing arrived today, would there be room for it? Or is your spirit filled with resentment, doubt, and agreements with the enemy? I want you to do a spiritual sweep with me right now. You do not need to move your physical body. I want you to walk through the house of your mind using your imagination. Visualize the hallway of your mind. Is it crowded with boxes of old offenses? Are you still holding on to an argument from 3 years ago? In your mind, pick that box up and throw it out the door. Say to yourself, I do not have room for offense. I need room for my destiny. Walk into the living room of your heart. Is the TV of your mind playing the channel of fear 24/7? Turn it off. Is the furniture covered in the dust of disappointment? Clear it out. Create a vacuum in your spirit. Tell the Lord, my house is ready. The clutter is gone. The counterfeit has been rejected. The darkness has done its work. I am ready to receive the treasures you have hidden for me. This is it. The legal work is done. The tactics of the enemy have been exposed. The room is prepared. The timeline is set. Heaven is standing at attention. The portal is open right above where you are. Do not turn this video off. Do not let your mind wander. We are about to step into the activation ceremony. This is the moment we put the final seal on the dispatch. We are about to sign the document in the spirit realm that cannot be revoked. Shift your posture, straighten your spine, prepare your voice. It is time to sign. We are crossing the threshold now. Do not just watch this. Participate. Even if your physical body is lying on a bed or sitting in a car, I want you to stand up in your spirit. Straighten your spiritual spine. Pull your shoulders back in the unseen realm. You are not a beggar asking for crumbs. You are an heir, stepping into the courtroom to sign for your inheritance. In the mighty name of Yeshua, the name above every name, I declare that the spiritual customs office is open. The court is in session. We are stepping past the delay. We are stepping past the interception. We are standing directly before the throne of grace. Father, I present this chosen one to you. You know the tears they have cried at 3 a.m. You have counted every sleepless night. You have seen the heaviness in their chest. You have seen how they held on to their faith, even when the silence was deafening. But today, the silence ends. Today, the waiting room is closed. I speak to the atmosphere around them right now. I command the Prince of Persia, the spirit of delay, and every intercepting entity that has been squatting on their timeline to let go. Loose the package. Remove your hands from God's property. You have no legal standing here. The blood of Jesus speaks a better word, and the debt has been paid. I seal the signature code into your spirit. I declare that you will no longer agree with the accuser. I bind the voice of the impostor syndrome. From this moment forward, when the enemy whispers shame, you will shout righteousness. When he shows you the black stone of guilt, you will hold up the white stone of acquittal. I seal your spiritual discernment against the counterfeit. I decree that your eyes are open. You will recognize the Ishmael before you sign the contract. You will smell the trap of the enemy before you walk into it. You will not settle for the good. You will wait for the God sent. And now, I activate the 40-day corridor of transformation. I decree that for the next 40 days, the heavens over your head are open. I speak to the north, south, east, and west. Give up what you are holding for this chosen one. I command the resources to find you. I command the phone calls to come in. I command the favor that you did not work for to land in your lap. I declare that the atmospheric pressure you have been feeling is shifting into atmospheric power. The thing that has been stuck is moving. The thing that was stolen is returning sevenfold. Receive it now. Visualize the stamp of heaven coming down on your life. It is finished. It is signed. It is sealed. Chosen one, listen to me. You are no longer waiting for the breakthrough. You are the breakthrough. Do not go back to the old way of thinking. Do not go back to the victim mindset. You have the code. You have the power. The package is in your hands. I commission you to walk in this new identity. You are dismissed from the wilderness. Walk out of this video and step into your destiny. Go.